to get a good secondary lead. The 1-0 is pulled toward the right side. Votto's got it. And the flip is off the glove. Coming home is Ashley. The Phillies are going to win the ball game. Down 4-0 at one point. They tied it in the ninth, and they win it here in the bottom of the 11th inning. Freddie Galvis doesn't get a hit, but he gets a celebration. After the last couple of nights, it seems to be the place to be again. Citizens Bank Park is the spot where tonight the Phillies will host the Cincinnati Reds in the final game of this three-game series. After two walk-offs by the Phils, they waited a long time for their offense, but it certainly paid off as they've won the last two games. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy. We'll be joined by Ben Davis and also Matt Stairs and Greg Murphy in just a little bit. Well, the excitement the last couple of nights for the Phillies offense has been fantastic for the fans. More than 20,000 each night that have come to the ballpark. And part of it is because of Maikel Franco. This is 2 nights ago, a slider from Jumbo Diaz that he sends 418 feet. You know, this is a guy who was struggling before that ball game. Then last night, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for Aroldis Chapman. He sends it to the seats in left center field, and he ties the ball game up again at 4 for Maikel Franco. We mentioned during the 7-game losing streak, he was 2 for 27 with 5 strikeouts, no extra base hits. But over the last 2 games, 4 for 9, 2 home runs, 3 extra base hits, and 5 RBIs. We are so enamored with the long ball that we decided to send Ben Davis and Matt Stairs out to those spots to give us a little perspective on Maikel Franco's power and those home runs. And we'll first talk to Ben.
You're absolutely right, Tom. 418 feet away from home plate is where we currently stand. This is where Maikel Franco's home run went the other night to tie the ball game up and ultimately enabled the Phillies to win a ball game. I'd like to talk about Maikel Franco's home run and the fact that a younger player let the game slow down. And that's not easy to do, especially for a guy that's trying to prove that he belongs in the big leagues. Got a 2-0 pitch, recognized the sliders. You know what? I see you have that slider. Jumbo Diaz doubled up on him, hung it, and we know that hanging sliders go a very long way. But I like the fact that he didn't try and do too much with it. He took a good swing, and the location of the pitch is what enabled him to hit it this far. Now, this is something that he's going to be able to benefit from as his career moves along. And as we stand out here again, I think the ball went a little bit farther than 418 feet away. And as you can take a look, you're never really safe anywhere in this ballpark, especially when Maikel Franco gets a hanging slider. Now, the very next night, he went up against someone throwing a wee bit harder in Aroldis Chapman. And I'm going to toss it now to Matt Stairs, who knows a thing or two about hitting the long ball.
Well, thanks, Ben. I tell you what, right now, a hanging slider goes a lot longer than a fastball coming in at 98 miles an hour. But I think it's a lot more impressive when you hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a 3-run home run in the 9th inning to tie the ball game up like Maikel Franco did last night. The key is hitting a fastball at 98 miles an hour. 1, getting your foot down early. 2, make sure the ball is down in the zone, which he did last night. Get a fastball inside, crush it to left field. But 3, don't try to do too much. Take a nice, easy swing. Chapman is allowing all the power behind it at 98 miles an hour. Take a nice, easy swing. Finish high, and it's amazing how the ball will jump off the bat. And, Tom, really, that's the reason why, 1, Franco is swinging the bat well, and 2, he definitely has his home run swing right now.
Yeah, Matt, it's totally different than a couple of days ago. The head is on the baseball, and that's why he's had that success. Last night's tying 3-run home run, 414 feet to left center field. First home run given out by Aroldis Chapman since May of last year. That was to Chase Headley. Jonathan Lucroy hit the other home run, the other walk-off home run back in 2013 as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll see if the Phillies can do it again. Anthony DeSclafani. Last time we saw him, he was with the Miami Marlins. He'll make his 11th start of the year for the Cincinnati Reds, and Aaron Harang will make start number 12 for the Phillies. Well, so many emotions for last night's ball game. It eventually turned out to be great emotions for the Phillies. That was 2 nights ago. Last night, the same thing. Cody Ashley crossing the plate. Brian wasn't happy, but he's going to be back in his seat tonight. Maikel Franco, he certainly was. Buy Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Buy Citizens Bank. One deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. Buy Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And buy Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Well, back inside Citizens Bank Park, we are ready to go. Brandon Phillips will lead things off for the Cincinnati Reds against Aaron Harang, his former team. And the first pitch of the night is in there for a strike. It's 0-1. I guess Brandon Phillips was taken all the way on that one. Phillips 303 on the year. He's had a good series. He's been very aggressive against some pitchers, not so much against others. 0-2. Same thing in this at bat. Not so much, and then yes. Harang's numbers: 12th start, 4-5, an ERA of 2.02, among the league leaders in that category. 53 strikeouts and 71 in the third. Line drive over the glove of Ryan Howard into right field, and Brandon Phillips will be aboard as Francoeur overthrows Howard. Let's take a look at the rest of the Reds lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Phils. It'll be Votto, Frazier, and Bruce, followed by Brian Pena, Zach Cozart, and Skip Schumacher. Anthony DeSclafani, the pitcher, bats 8th, and Billy Hamilton will bat 9th. All right, Matt, the Budweiser scouting report on Aaron Harang.
Well, average velocity 89.3 miles an hour. 5-pitch pitcher, but his last outing basically used fastball, slider, and a changeup.
Here's Joey Votto, a tough hitter to deal with, particularly with a runner on. He throws the first pitch strike. It's 0-1. I don't know what happened on that line drive. I'm not sure if Howard should have or could have caught it the way it was hit. It was on him pretty fast. Brandon Phillips has been red hot, just as Votto has been red hot. Those guys have combined 10 for 21 in this series, each with 5 hits.
Well, they're hitting mistakes. If the pitchers are making a mistake, they're making the pay.
Inside. Take a look at this Brandon Phillips line drive.
Just kind of got up past his glove.
I think it went right past his glove by maybe an inch or so.
Yeah.
Probably could have made the play, but the bottom line is the 0-2 pitch needs to be better than that.
High fly ball to right center field. Francoeur says he has it. Phillips is tagging. He's not going to challenge that arm. And there's one out here in the first. Oh, it's time now for our Nissan keys to the game. Matt, take it away.
Well, key for me tonight is let's try it early and often tonight. It's great doing the walk-offs, but it's also nice to get runs early and keep on adding on.
And why not get your broom out? Good time to sweep the Reds here. So there's no reason why they can't do it. Aaron Harang's been throwing the ball well, so hopefully they can get out of here with 3 wins.
By the way, Matt, I don't know if you've noticed, but Ben is wearing the pullover tonight. I guess it's not as warm as he might have liked it to be, as that one is hit out toward left center field. And it's going to go off the base of the wall. Heading to third is Phillips, and he's heading home. Galvis's throw to the plate will not be in time, and the Reds take the lead. It's 1-0 here in the top of the first. Well, Todd Frazier had been 0 for 11 in this series, and he rips a double in his first at bat.
I was talking to Frazier today, and he said he held up 2 circles, meaning, hey, I'm taking the collar right now. He said, I don't know what's going on, but he made up for it there.
Jim Riggleman waving Phillips home. All right, now Jay Bruce. For Frazier, that was his 12th double of the season, 32nd RBI. Bruce, a .226 hitter, as Phillips gets some water into his system. First pitch is on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Well, I guess tonight's not going to be any different than the other nights. The Reds take the early lead.
Very early, and it's interesting to see how far Cody Ashley is playing in left center. I mean, there's about 300 feet to his right towards the towards third baseline. I mean, that is a shift, knowing that, one, he's going to be a pull hitter on the ground, and everything hits in the air, dead pull hitter as well.
I don't think we've seen a left fielder give the line the way he is right there. I think we've seen the right fielder from time to time. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Bruce takes low. 2-1. Jay Bruce is 2 for 6, 4 walks so far in this series. Off the hands. Franco will give it a look and reaches over, makes the catch. What a play! Second out of the inning. I wasn't sure if the wind was going to keep that ball in play.
Especially with the wind blowing right to left, I'm thinking there's no way this ball stays even close to being catchable, and there's no way that Franco gets over there to make the play. It's called finding your spot, getting to it, throw up his glove. Great play there. Great play.
Look how he's feeling for the railing right there. Good thing that guy didn't make the same kind of play from the other side. Well, 2 outs, and here is Brian Pena with a runner at second. Pena started game 1 of this series. Was not in last night's ball game. Fights it off foul and out of play. It's 0-1. Overall, 294, no home runs, 6 runs batted in. Saw that note in the bottom of the Budweiser scouting report. Aaron Harang spent 8 years with the Cincinnati Reds, won 75 games. Won 16 games on 2 different occasions with Cincinnati.
75 and 80 with a 4.28 ERA.
Out to left field. It's not that deep. Cody Ashley comes running in, and the wind sort of takes it away. Side is retired. Well, the damage was minimized partly because of Franco's defense over at third. He made sure Jay Bruce didn't get another opportunity, leaning against the rail, pulling it in. Reds lead at 1-0. Getting set to lead it off. Let's take a look at the starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Leading it off is Revere, then Jeff Francoeur and Chase Utley. Ryan Howard will back cleanup. Maikel Franco will hit 5th. Cody Ashley bats 6th, followed by Freddie Galvis, the shortstop. Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, will hit 8th, and batting 9th and pitching is Harang, and they'll face Anthony DeSclafani, who, Ben, last time we saw him, he was in a Marlins uniform. He's had a pretty good year, 3-4 with an ERA of 3.41.
He is having a good year and still considered a rookie.
First pitch to Revere is low. It's 1-0.
And as we take a look at the Budweiser scouting report, Anthony DeSclafani, no relation Matt to Gwen Stefani, but 92.2 mile-an-hour fastball. He's pretty much fastball cutter. And the slider, like you mentioned, Matt, is very hard, and he is a great Garden State native out of Freehold, New Jersey.
Went to Colts Neck High School. Very good high school baseball program. Wasn't around when I went to school. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ben Revere. 2 for 6 in the series. His 2 hits last night when he came on to pinch hit and then stayed in the ball game. Ben and I were talking today about those at-bats that he and his teammates had late in the game. And he was talking about Aroldis Chapman, who he has faced since the minor leagues. That one is pulled out toward right center field. Bruce on the run. Can't get it. It's off his glove. It's going to kick toward the 398 side. And Revere's going to kick it into high gear and get to third. And the Phillies have a leadoff triple for Ben Revere, his 5th of the year.
I think this ball just carried more than Jay Bruce thought it was going to. Otherwise, I think you would have seen him lay out. And there's that cutter that we had discussed. Ben does a good job of getting the bat head out, creating a little lift, and that's what created the backspin.
When Ben needs to kick it in, he can kick it in. Also, I think a lot has to do with that wind blowing that ball from right to left.
26th career triple for Revere. Now the Phillies have a chance to tie this one up. The other part that helped the Phils there is that Billy Hamilton was so close to Bruce, wasn't in a position to kind of back up, so that enabled Revere to get to third. Francoeur takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Francoeur 252, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in, 2 for 5 in this series. He had a good at bat in last night's game. Couple of them. Fouls it away, and it's 1-2.
It's fun to watch him run, isn't it?
When he gets it going. That one's hit sharply out towards second, knocked down by Phillips. The run will score, and the Phillies have tied it up. RBI number 14 for Jeff Francoeur. It's a 1-1 ball game. That's what they call a productive out for Jeff Francoeur.
Well, it's a productive out, but the nice thing about it is you want to stay away from the corners. You always think about man on third, less than 2 out, hit the ball up the middle on the ground, sacrifice your average, but get the run in. It's a nice job of hitting the ball back up the middle.
So in a blink of an eye, the Phillies have tied this ball game up on the RBI by Jeff Francoeur. Now Chase Utley will be the hitter. Utley 3 for 7 in the series. Hitless in last night's ball game.
Did have the sac fly off Chapman in that 9th inning. Left center. Billy Hamilton made a great diving catch on him.
Little tapper foul, and it's 0-2. Get a piece of Brian Pena, the catcher. He sprays it foul over the third base dugout. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Peg Laumakis of Mullica Hill, New Jersey. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Peg will win $100.
Good luck, Peg.
That one is ripped to right field, and it is off the base of the wall. Look at it kick off the cement. Utley may get 3 out of this one. He's around second. Nope, puts the brakes on.
Good choice.
Second extra base hit of the inning for the Phillies. 7th double for Utley. I don't think I've ever seen the ball do that. Hit the base of the wall like that and kick back like that.
Well, there's about that 4 or 5 inches at the very bottom of the hill of cement. Chase gets on top of that fastball, and right there, hits the bottom of that little cement and shoots in. And good thing that Chase stopped, because Bruce's momentum was coming in to get the ball,
Yeah.
and he has a very good arm in right field.
I think if Chase had a little bit better turn at first base, he would have tried it.
Here's Ryan Howard, and Howard takes outside. Howard is 1 for 3 against DeSclafani. Reds picked him up in the trade that sent Matt Latos to the Miami Marlins. One ball, one strike. Back toward the middle, and it's scooped up by Cozart. Well, the shift takes another hit away from Ryan Howard. The Phillies have a runner over at third with 2 outs. That's 6-3 on the putout.
Well, the shift takes away another hit, but also with a man on second base, he wouldn't. If there was not a man on second base, he wouldn't be playing there.
Right.
He'd be playing farther on second base side.
Well, let's see if the Phillies can get a clutch 2-out base hit, Murph, from Maikel Franco, and see if he can come through here like he did last night.
Well, he certainly did last night. That 3-run home run, a big blast off of Aroldis Chapman. And, you know, it got us thinking. We were talking about all those home runs that Franco's hitting. Take a look at this. One of the longest home runs ever hit off of Chapman. In fact, the third longest one at 414. Kristen Orfia from San Diego hit one 424, and Josh Willingham hit one 415, so a foot longer than Franco's last night, but he comes in third on the list against Aroldis Chapman, and it was a no doubt about it home run last night and a huge part of that ball game. And you know what's interesting, guys? All the 5 longest home runs off of Chapman all came in the month of June. How about that?
There's one line to right center field, so he's going to stay hot. He'll give the Phillies the lead. Utley will score. Franco will go to second, and he'll stop there. 3 extra base hits for Maikel Franco. Or for the Phillies, I should say. For Franco, it's his third double. And it's a 2-1 Phillies lead.
I'll tell you what, I'm waiting for him to throw an off-speed pitch. Give the Phillies hitters credit. They're ready for this heater, and they're hitting it hard, barreling. A lot of, even the out Ryan Howard made was hard hit ball. The out that Francoeur made was a hard hit ball.
Well, Utley scores. It's 2-1 Phillies. Here's Ashe, who's hit in 7 straight games.
The first 5 hitters have barreled each time they put it in play.
Yeah. And a base hit could give the Phils an extra run here, with Franco leading off second. Fly ball, right center field. I think you finally got your off-speed pitch, Ben. Hamilton comes running in, makes the catch, and the side is retired. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 man left for the Phils. They take the lead as we go to the second. for a 3-game series. 7:05 tomorrow, African American Heritage Celebration presented by the Sound of Philadelphia. Saturday's a 3:05 start. Sunday, a great giveaway. There it is right there from the International Brotherhood. Playing left field tonight. And here's Skip Schumacher playing left field tonight. Marlon Byrd was officially placed on the disabled list yesterday, 15-day DL. And tests revealed that the fracture to his wrist is a brand new fracture. There was a thought that it might be a pre-existing injury, but it's not, or an old fracture that didn't heal all the way, but it's not. So he's going to be out for a little while. He already started his rehab, though, today, from what he tweeted out earlier.
Ice and stem. What else going to do for
That's
it?
pretty much all he could do, I guess.
But you wouldn't want to stem a break. Send shocks to there.
All right, so ice. Ice and TV. The outside corner, 2-2.
Or would you? You don't want to stem a break, do you?
They seem to stem everything, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
2-2 pitch to Schumacher. Off the end of the bat, over to Howard at first. He's got it, and a couple quick steps, 2 outs. So 2 away, and here's Anthony DeSclafani, the pitcher. Hitting 125, no home runs, 1 run batted in. So 2 for 16 so far this season. Fastball for a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Aaron Harang has pitched very, very well overall, but pitched very well here at Citizens Bank Park this season. And even though over his last 3 starts his earned run average is 2, he does not have a decision, or does not have a win. 4 earned runs in 18 innings of work, but hasn't been able to pick up a victory. Off the hands, that one is popped over toward the Phillies dugout. Howard near the rail makes the backhanded grab, and the side is retired. Not as much of a bend as Maikel Franco, but that's a big man. He was able to reel that one in. Not only this one here, but also the flip for his practice baseball. Inning is over as we go to the bottom of the 2nd. Charlie Manuel will be waking up with Rob Ellis, Julian Mealy, Sarah Baker, and Barrett Brooks on Breakfast on Broad, presented by Virtua Joint Replacement Institute, over on the Comcast Network and streaming live on breakfastonbroad.com. Saw Charlie Manuel the last few days roaming around the ballpark. It's good to see him. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Phillies lead it 2-1. It'll be Galvis, Ruiz, and Aaron Harang against right-hander Anthony DeSclafani, who made the final out of the top of the second. Well, it's not Dollar Dog night, but there's always room for some sausage and some dogs.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. That is a well-used tongue right there.
Ben just started drooling.
Galvis 275, a home run, 12 RBIs, 0 for his last 22, trying to break that slide. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes.
Right now he has an upper body swing, not using his lower half, using all shoulders.
Floats that one out toward left center field. Schumacher comes running in, and he'll put it away. So 1 out. Carlos Ruiz coming up. During the 2015 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Carlos in a mini slide, 0 for his last 9. 2 for 14 on the homestand. He hit a ball pretty well last night late in the game. He kind of threw his head back after he was retired. He thought he may have won the ball game for the Phils.
He had a gut feeling that Toots is going to hit a home run today.
Chopper to third. His next at bat.
Well, yeah, it doesn't have to be. I mean, tonight.
I'll tell you, that ball he hit last night, he had a really good swing at it.
He did.
It just died out on the track in left center field. Here's Harang, who's 2 for 20 this year. One of his 2 hits is a double. Sounds like he broke his bat. Jay Bruce comes running in, and DeSclafani with an easy second inning. He retires the Phils in order. 2 flyouts, 1 ground out, a 7-pitch inning. That inning took as long as those kids are taking trying to run the bases out at Citizens Bank Park on the Congress.
Dear Phil.
Today, Major League Baseball, the Phillies and the city of Philadelphia officially opened the Phillies MLB Urban Youth Academy. Ryan Howard was there. The Sarge was there as well. David Montgomery was there. This is the 5th youth academy, urban youth academy that has been opened by Major League Baseball and respective teams around the United States. It is a great initiative, beautiful facilities. It's right across the street from Citizens, or right up the street from Citizens Bank Park. The indoor facilities will be at the Marion Anderson Recreation Center. The outdoor location is at FDR Park, featuring a 4-field facility that includes a brand new baseball show field equipped with new bleacher seating for 450 spectators, dugouts, a scoreboard, and a press box. Now, this is in addition to the existing Ashburn baseball field and the 2 girls softball fields. You can actually see a little of it if you're going down 95. If you're heading toward the airport, you look off to your right, you can see a little of it. The overall project is supported by Major League Baseball, the Phillies, the Baseball Tomorrow Fund, the City of Philadelphia, and of course the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Pretty nice to see those freshly groomed fields over there, huh?
I've watched the construction of that field.
Yeah.
And it took a while, but the drainage system, the sprinkler system that they have, it's beautiful. They put the grass down, they burnt the grass, reseeded it. It is gorgeous.
Hamilton shows bunt, takes inside, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the fact that there's an indoor facility to do different training and things like that is just adds to it for the winter months. And also, if it's raining outside during the summer months, there's still a chance to play a little baseball. Curveball, and that'll land in foul territory. But as we mentioned, for Major League Baseball, there are 5 different urban youth academies in operation in the United States. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to Phillies.com. There are 20,000 young men and women and more than 500 academy student athletes that have gone on to participate in college baseball and softball. Also, about 150 of the alums that are in the that have been drafted. That one's out to shallow center. Ben Revere makes the catch. Well, it's not the only thing, Murph, that's been going on in the community today. I know you have more on some of the other things the Phillies players and some front office members have done today.
Yeah, it was a busy day as the players were out and about. How about Freddie Galvis and Andres Blanco speaking at McKinley Elementary School today, hanging out with some of the kids there you see. And the next picture you're going to see here, that's Priscilla Torres. She's the valedictorian of the school, and Juliana Ortega, the salutatorian, hanging out with the guys as well. The visit was organized by our brethren in the Phillies Spanish broadcasting booth. And Bill, of course, Angel and Will, and Star, who's one of our security guards, works outside the visitors clubhouse. They got together, put that visit together, and the players answered some questions both in English and Spanish at the school, and kind of preached the idea of hard work gets you where you need to go. So nice job by Freddie Galvis and Andres Blanco today out there at McKinley Elementary in Philadelphia.
I know the kids were all fired up to see those 2 guys coming out to say hello. Phillips launches one out toward left, and Cody Ashe reaches up at the last moment and makes the grab. Yep, it's a little bigger glove that he used over at third base, and he used every bit of it to reel that one in.
Well, he's used to playing the hot corner at third, and this ball gets on him very quick. And Brandon smokes it again, but he does a nice job of leaping it, timing it right. Oh, piece of cake. Good athlete.
Turned out to be a good play. So 2 outs. Here's Votto. Flight out to right, his first time up.
I got home last night. I was checking a few things, and Cody actually sent out a tweet that said, "Shout out to the guy who told me I was his 4th favorite player tonight. You guys kept it interesting and left." 4th favorite player.
That one's hit towards second. Diving stop. Utley high in the air. Back to his feet. In time. What a play.
Yeah.
Phillies are playing some defense here tonight. Franco, Ashe, and this could be the best play of them all. Ashe makes this one for the 2nd out, and a big smile on his face. And how about Chase Utley? Man, did he leave his feet and lay it out to retire the Reds in order. health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. Well, Tony Luke's is hopping right now out in Ashburn Alley. Here's Ben Revere to lead things off. He shows bunt, takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Boys, we've watched every game this year. 3 plays, 4 if you count Howard's over by the railing. As Revere reaches again with a broken bat single to center this time. Anyway, we've watched all these games this year. This is the best defense we've seen the Phillies play. I mean, these are spectacular plays defensively.
Well, it is. This one right here, Superman diving to his right. And look at that full-out dive. You know, and the fact that he get up very quick. Look how high he is off the ground. That's a great shot right there.
It's like Superman. But he, just like Freddie Galvis last night, got to his feet very quickly.
Very fast, yep. Ben was saying last night when he got on first at one point, he said, I was thinking about stealing, but Chase was up, so I kind of held off. Up and in, 1 ball, no strikes. He also said on that 1 base hit, I can't remember which one it was. I guess it was the one in the 10th inning. He said he really thought about taking 2. He said, I can't get thrown out in that spot.
That's when Hamilton was to his right and slipped.
There's the 1-0 pitch coming to Francoeur. Outside corner, 1-1.
Frenchie wouldn't be a bad guy to put a hitting run on with. You know he'll swing at any pitch. He usually makes pretty good contact.
Well, it was funny the other day when Murph and I were talking to him about his fingernail and also about batting second. He said, I'm going to pepper that hole on the right side. Runner goes, pitches pop foul. Nice 2-handed grab. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Revere goes back to first.
Well, that particular swing doesn't dictate him shooting the ball to right field.
Maybe I should say that he said, I'm going to try to shoot the ball to right field.
Maybe with 2 strikes.
Broke his back, ground ball to third. Frazier has it, goes to second in time, back to first, not in time. Votto had to leave the bag to make the catch. 5-4 on the putout at second base.
I can't believe that play was that close.
I can't believe Ben Revere dove head first into second base, or third base, or second base. I was right the first time. Because that makes a very strong throw, but usually as a base runner, you want to go in feet first and try to break it up.
You go at head first like that, you're going to get a concussion.
Unless he thought he was trying to beat the throw.
Yeah. Well, here's Utley, who doubled his last time up and then came around to score. Out toward left field, and Schumacher is there. And Francoeur's tagging. The throw by Schumacher. He is not even close to the bag. So the side is retired. Brandon Phillips pointing toward the baseline saying, hey, you got to come over here. Phillies go down here in the third. We'll go to the fourth. fan section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, man, here we go. Who was the last Reds 20-game winner before Johnny Cueto in 2014? The last 20-game winner for the Reds before Johnny Cueto did it in 2014.
I believe in what, 1992?
You're right. You're in the right ballpark. Are you getting these questions ahead of time or something?
No. That's what the ladies asked today.
I know. Here's Todd Frazier, who doubled his first time up, takes a breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. One ball, one strike. The ladies Matt is referring to are the ladies from Baseball 101. Each and every year the Phillies hold Baseball 101 sessions for the women in the Delaware Valley. All proceeds go to Phillies charities, and today was the first of two. On the outside corner, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That was a lot of fun.
It's great.
A lot of fun.
Energy's awesome.
Questions are great.
Questions are very good.
Answers are even better.
Outside 2-2. The host this year was a little different than usual. It wasn't Scott Palmer. Ladies from Baseball 101 settling in. Some have brought their gloves. Some even had Matt sign their glove. Over to third. Franco backs up on it. And there's 1 out. Well, this is what happened today. Baseball 101. Frank Koppenbarger told them about the clubhouse. Swanee told them about the food in the clubhouse. Sean Fakasny, one of the Phillies athletic trainers, went over some things about athletic training. Steve Henderson, Bob McClure, Juan Samuel, he's always a good participant. There's Larry Boa, showing him how to throw a baseball. Jeff Francoeur even participated this year. Ryan Sandberg, ground ball to second. And Bruce is retired. And Alfonso Marquez, who's at second base. Murph, he was the umpire who provided some insight today.
Yeah, he was terrific, too. And, you know, the women of Baseball 101 really had some outstanding questions, you know, talking about the umpiring at the major league level. And Alfonso could not have been any better. And he told a terrific story. They asked him what his craziest argument story ever was. And he said, well, it's funny you say that because it happened to involve someone in the Phillies organization. He said that when he was back in single-A ball and he was umpiring, he was at first base, and he called the ball off the plate a foul ball. And he realized immediately that he had made the wrong call. It actually wasn't a foul ball. He thought it went off the player's foot. So out comes the manager of the single-A team. And that single-A manager happened to be John Miserock, who is the assistant hitting coach for the Phillies. And Marquez says that Miserock came right up into his face, and he starts yelling at him. And I'm going to demonstrate. He starts yelling at him and saying, oh, wait, okay. And he says, hey, let me tell you something, Fonzie. The other day I went out fishing, and I went out and I caught a fish, and it was this big. And he was being very demonstrative and showing Fonzie just how big this fish was. And he's yelling at him, but he's talking about his fishing trip. And he starts pointing at his chest. He says, I'll tell you one more thing. Next time I go fishing, I'm going to bring you with me. That's what I'm going to do. And then he walked back into the dugout. Alfonso said he didn't know what was going on. It turns out Miserock was just trying to fire up his guys. He was trying to fire up the crowd, which he did. And he said it was the strangest argument he's ever been in. He said it was one of the first arguments he had ever been in with a manager, and the guy wasn't even talking about the play that happened. So you never know what you're going to hear out in a baseball game, but we know what kind of sense of humor Miserock has, and it's a good one. And he said that he's remembered that story for years and years and years. So.
How big was the fish, Murph?
It was this big, and he was very upset. Very upset. But next time he's going to take him with him. That's right.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Pena. Curveball high, 3-2. Well, each year the Phillies invite one of the umpires, and this year, of course, Alfonso Marquez got the nod. There's ball 4, so Pena draws a 2-out walk. Now, if it was Tom Hallion that they had invited into the room, he would have had to show them his strike 3 call, where he gets all contorted into like a pretzel as he rings up the batter. Bruce Dreckman's at first. Marquez, of course, at second. Dan Bellino around the third. And Cozart takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Was it Lloyd McClendon yesterday?
Yeah.
You got kicked out of the game. He went and argued with every umpire.
2 days ago.
Except for the second base umpire. He just, as he was wrapping up his arguments, he said, "And you too." And as he walked off
2 days ago?
Walked off the field. Yeah, 2 days ago. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cozart. Just missed inside, 2-2.
Lloyd's had some good ones over the years. Remember one particular when he was the skipper of the Pirates. He had at it.
That was the one with the base, right?
Yes.
He was throwing the base around, or he took the base.
Took the base with him.
Just left. Swing and a miss. He got him with a curve. So Harang picks up his first strikeout of the night. No runs, no hits. 1 man left over at first. We'll go to the bottom of the second inning. The Phillies hanging on to a 2-1 lead. Aaron Harang has found some movement with that breaking pitch. Dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by the Quality Plus Sports Stores. Go further. Phillies lead it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. You see that guy on the phone right there that Phillies had? Well, the guy behind him, of course, is Jason Kelce. Philadelphia Eagles. Murph, I want to see you arm wrestle Jason Kelce if you can.
Oh, you just missed it. I beat him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty one-sided, honestly. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. Ben, I want to see you arm wrestle Jason Kelce.
No thanks.
He is a strong man indeed.
0-1 to Ryan Howard. OTAs have been going on across the street, the NovaCare Center. Howard fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
I played in a golf tournament last week, and John Runyon was in the group. Started on the same hole. He was in the first group. I was in the second. Every time I see that man, he gets bigger and bigger.
John Runyon?
Oh, my Lord. He's huge.
No balls, 2 strikes to Howard. And Howard pops it up near the second base bag. Cozart will put it away. That's 6 in your book if you're scoring. And here comes Maikel Franco. Well, last time up for Franco, he scalded this one to right center field.
On an 0-2 pitch. Fastball out over the plate. I think Ben would be very happy with that swing right there, making the adjustment and going with the pitch.
Yeah, it's a good piece of hitting. You're right, though. That ball's splitting plate. I'll tell you who's going to benefit from this is Ryan Howard. Franco gets hot. Big piece going to see a lot more pitches to hit.
That one's off the hands, out towards shallow center. Hamilton comes running in. Yeah, there are 2 outs. Ben, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know you were downstairs talking to Brian Price today. Did he have any impressions of Maikel Franco?
He did not. He did not. We're actually just reminiscing about the good old days in Seattle.
With Jamie Moyer?
Yeah, with Jaime. No, I went in to see him the other day, and Pat Gillick was in there. Benny Looper was in there. I said, man, this is like a reunion. And he looked at me. He said, Large Irish. He goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm vice president of finance. And he looked at me and he goes, and Pat Gillick let out the biggest laugh. I said, not so much, Brian.
The fib was over by then, right?
It was over. I had Frazier going, though. He believed it for a quick second.
Matt, I don't even think he's the vice president of finance of his own family.
These guys have to cut the cord. Let it go.
Yeah, really, Ben.
Get out of the past.
Yeah.
It's a great Northwest, Matt. It was a fun place to be for a while.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. Too bad you didn't know Larry Anderson back then. You could have stayed in one of his 4 houses out there in the great Northwest. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Ashe.
You know, Ben was talking earlier about Anthony's pitches. 95% of the pitches he throws are either a fastball or a cutter. And yes, I called him Anthony.
3-2 pitch. And there's ball 4. Ashe draws a walk. Now that'll bring Freddie Galvis to the plate. He flied to left his first time up. African American Heritage Night will be tomorrow here at Citizens Bank Park. Now, you want to be in your seats early. You got performances going on throughout the ballpark and also down on the field. Pop and R&B singer, songwriter, and producer Buddy Sigler will sing the national anthem. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. The Phillies Gamble and Huff Community Partnership Award will also be given out. The OJs and Gene Carney will receive that award as Galvis shatters his bat and Cozart makes the catch. Side is retired. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. 4 of the books. Phillies lead it 2-1 over the Reds. Freezing winters, scorching summers. Like Philadelphians, Avery weatherproof labels from WB Mason are built to withstand the extreme elements. Trust Avery labels with your most essential shipments. Who but WB Mason? Top of the 5th inning. Now the Phillies lead it 2-1. Aaron Harang goes back to work. He allowed 2 hits in the first, and that's it so far. First pitch to Schumacher's taken outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Schumacher grounded out to Ryan Howard in his initial at bat. And now 3-0. DeSclafani is on deck, and then Billy Hamilton, 7, 8, 9. 3-1 to Schumacher. And ball 4.
Pretty good pitch.
Yeah, looked pretty good. Second walk issued by Aaron Harang. Well, each and every year we talk about the Phillies road trips. Well, the next one is coming up August 6th through the 10th in San Diego, California. Trip includes 4 nights accommodations, brunch with Phillies announcers, tour of Petco Park, tickets to all 3 games in San Diego, plus a custom Phillies road trip polo shirt. See Phillies.com/Phillies vacations or call 877-833-7326. DeSclafani popped out to Howard his first time up. He bunts to the right side. No man's land. Nobody's covering first, and everybody is safe. Now that'll be a base hit for DeSclafani. And the Reds have first and second with nobody out. It's only the 3rd hit and the first one since the first.
Not 100% sure, but I'm going to say he did this on purpose. He bunted it hard enough to get in between. And on the lack of communication, Ryan still has to go after that ball, and Chase goes to first base.
Yeah, because if Chase had come in to field it, they wouldn't have gotten anybody in.
Nobody at first base.
Yeah.
I disagree with both of you. I think Aaron Harang should have taken charge.
Well, there's some truth to that.
If he was quicker.
And Hamilton bunts toward third. Ruiz is going to have to hurry and gets it there in time to get Hamilton. Now he was bunting for a base hit, but they'll score that as sacrifice because he did move the runners up to second and third. By rule, the official scorers are supposed to give the hitter the benefit of the doubt.
Can't tell you how nice a play this is by Chooch. Because your momentum's going towards third base. Some catchers will do a full 360, get over top the ball, spin, and throw so you get the momentum going back. Chooch does not have that time because of Billy Hamilton's speed.
Excellent call by Bruce Streckman, too. That was awfully close. Brandon Phillips lifts that one out toward left field. Ashe's going back on it. It's over his head off the base of the wall. 1 run will score. Now DeSclafani will stop at third. It's going to be an RBI double for Phillips. And it's now a 2-2 ball game.
Brandon Phillips is probably thinking, can't score from second on that. But pitchers aren't used to running the bases. Aaron Harang leaves a breaking ball up in the zone. We know Brandon Phillips is going to be aggressive. He's proven that for the first 2 games and into tonight. But that breaking ball just up in the zone too much.
Well, they're going to walk Joey Votto intentionally here in the top of the 5th inning. And that'll load up the bases for Todd Frazier. So they'll try to turn 2 with Frazier, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI tonight. Phillies fans, next time you're looking for great seats, get to StubHub, where there are no surprise fees at checkout. That's right. On StubHub, the price you see is the price you pay. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Phils. Well, DeSclafani's over at third, Phillips at second, and Votto at first. One man down, top of the fifth. And it's a 2-2 ball game. Each team now with 4 hits. And Frazier takes strike one. It's 0-1. I think Tom Hallion's not only hearing it from Frazier, but also from the Reds dugout. Out of play, 0-2.
The body language early on in this ball game from Chooch and Aaron Harang led me to believe that they had some pitches that they thought were questionable and could have gone their way.
Curveball rolled out towards shortstop. Galvis charges, comes home with it, and it's in time to get DeSclafani. Ruiz didn't have to tag him. It was a force play, but he still tagged him out. Well, he's just making sure.
Yeah, but he has to be careful by blocking home plate as well.
And here comes Brian Price. Such a heads-up baseball play by Freddie Galvis. Attacks the baseball, makes the play.
And makes a very strong throw off balance, right on the money. He gave him an area to slide.
I don't know. I mean, if they're going to put it with the letter of the law, I mean, it is a force play, but he still tagged him.
It's just a brain cramp by Chooch.
Fortunately, the throw was clear. So the ball's hasn't arrived yet. DeSclafani's nowhere near home plate. But I think they're going to review this. Oh, this would be so strange if they decided to enforce the rule that he blocked the plate incorrectly. I mean, this is where it's somewhat of a gray area because it is a forced play. So technically the catcher on normal occasions is going to act like a first baseman. It would give a clear path to home plate. You know, DeSclafani has nowhere to go. I mean, I guess you could say he can go between Ruiz's legs, but that's not part of the rule. You know, he can't. He's got to give him a path to slide into. And if it's a force play, Carlos would have acted like a first baseman. There wouldn't have been any question about it.
But after he has the ball, he can take it away, correct?
What do you mean he can take it away?
Yes,
he can take the plate away after he catches the ball. But he was in full possession of the baseball.
Well, that's correct, but he still has to give him a path before he's in possession. Like, he can go into it after he catches it. Correct. That's a good way of putting it. He has to make the adjustment.
And actually, when Freddie threw the ball home, it almost looked like it caught Chooch off guard that he was coming home with it.
Yeah, well, as Ben said, too, it's a heads-up play by Galvis that he knew that there was a pitcher running.
It's almost like he didn't know where to put his left foot on the plate or the right foot on the plate. Right. The throw was so dead center in the middle of his body, he just said, I'll just tag him. But
well, if they go by the letter of the law when it comes to this particular rule, which was implemented last year, now the umpires have to use their discretion.
Right.
That's what they were told this year. And you hope that their discretion would be that the throw arrived well before DeSclafani, that it was a force play. But whether Rule 7.13 is implemented here or not, oof, I don't know.
Well, and we get another look at it right here. Just watch Chooch. He's kind of just standing at home plate. Then all of a sudden, Freddie comes up and fires it to him. And then all of a sudden, he reacts going, oh, the ball's coming.
Yep.
So I think that's the reason why he tagged him, is because he caught him off guard, not realizing that Freddie was coming home with a throw.
Yeah, I'm looking at Rule 7.13. It doesn't say anything about forced plays or tag plays.
No.
But he is definitively blocking the path of the runner. But I think this is where the umpire's discretion comes in. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well, for me, I'm saying that he should be out at home plate because the ball beat him by such a amount of time. But the rule of thumb says that you have to give him a lane to slide to. And Ben, I know you despise this rule, and I agree 100% with you. They need to take the rule out at home plate.
Despise is an understatement.
I was being nice.
Unless the catcher is in possession of the ball, the catcher cannot block the pathway of the runner as he is attempting to score. If in the judgment of the umpire, the catcher without possession of the ball blocks the pathway of the runner, the umpire shall call or signal the runner safe. You know, and the throw didn't take him into the path of the runner. Boy, this is as long a review as we have seen since review was implemented.
Not going to believe either way that the call goes, one of the managers aren't going to be very happy.
Well, it's been 5 minutes since the last pitch. And the folks in New York are the ones that are controlling it right now and determining whether there is a violation of Rule 7.13.
This could be such a turning point in the game.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. Headsets are coming off. And he is safe. Oh, man. That is, I mean, by rule, it is right, but it is silly.
Such a joke.
Ryan Sandberg doesn't need an explanation, or is it the umpire doesn't have to give him an explanation, but they are giving him the explanation. Well, it's a great challenge by Brian Price. It was you, Matt, that brought it up that he was coming out. Yeah, it's a great challenge. So Cincinnati takes the lead, and there's still just one man down. Boy, that's crazy.
Rules are rules. There's nothing you can do. But
no, it's true. I mean, but
such a joke.
The discretion part of it is where I think sometimes you just get lost with it.
Nobody feels worse than that man, number 51.
Yep. So 3-2 Reds. One man down here in the top of the fifth. Jay Bruce is the batter. Bruce 0 for 2. Bases remain loaded. First pitch is inside. 1 ball, no strikes. So E2, no RBI on that play. Way inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Fourth error of the season for Ruiz. And now it's 3-0. Well, we can go the next 5 years and never see anything like that when it comes to this rule.
Right.
There's a strike, and it's 3-1.
I may have to take an inning off, Tom.
That one's back toward the middle. It should be 2. Galvis on the bag. Double play.
Got it, baby.
So 2-run score, 6-3 double play. The Reds wind up leaving a couple here in the fifth. They take the lead. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-2 Cincinnati. Hosted by John Gonzalez tonight at 10:30 over on the Comcast Network and on the 700level.com. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Phillies trail it now 3-2 on a very odd ruling. The enforcement of Rule 7.13, which was enforced to the letter of the rule without umpire discretion. Tom Hallion's the crew chief. We'll try to get an explanation from Major League Baseball. I think it's plain and simple. It's basically the letter of the rule.
It is what it is. Chooch has been good so far the last 2 years, last year and this year, of giving an area to slide.
Yeah. But I think your point, Matt, that he was shocked that Galvis was coming home, I think it caught him off guard.
Plus, it didn't help that bat was right there.
That's true, too. That one's out toward right center field. Hamilton, boy, he is fast. And one out here in the bottom of the 5th. Aaron Harag's coming up. It's time to check in with Murph with our T-Mobile Game Changer. Murph?
It is indeed, Tom, and the subject of that is Anthony DeSclafani. You know, last year, as you mentioned, Tom, we saw him with the Miami Marlins, but he only pitched 33 innings a year ago, so he came back, and he's back with the Cincinnati Reds this year. And as Ben mentioned, his rookie status is still intact, and he's having a pretty good year. So if you take a look at the ERA leaders for rookies, his teammate is right there, right ahead of him, Michael Lorenzen. But at 341, that's what he came in with among the top 5 among rookies in ERA. So having a good season so far. He's given up 2 earned runs here this afternoon, or tonight, I should say. But so far, so good for DeSclafani with his new team, the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, he was originally drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 6th round in 2011. Out of the University of Florida. As Ben said, he's a Jersey kid out of Colts Neck, New Jersey. And the Blue Jays sent him to the Marlins in that mega deal. As that one's chopped off the plate, Frazier bare hands throws in time. 2 outs. That mega deal that sent Reyes, Burley, and Bonifacio, and then list went on and on to Toronto. And then the Marlins flipped him to Cincinnati, and they picked up Matt Latos. Here's Ben Revere, who is 2 for 2.
Tom, how far away is Colts Neck from here?
Ben, you can get to Colts Neck in probably an hour. It's low, 1 ball, no strikes. Butted toward third. Frazier anticipated. Bare hands throws in time, and the side is retired. Phillies go down in order in their half of the 5th inning. Just an 8-pitch inning for DeSclafani. We've completed 5. On to the top of the 6th. It's a 3-2 ball game. Swinging his bat into the 3rd month of the season as he did from the leadoff spot a season ago. Tough times at the plate in April turned into productive results in May. Back at the top of the order, Ben sets the table and sets the pace for Phil's offense, looking for a burst of energy. He's moved from center field to left and over to right. He's delivering from all corners of the outfield. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Ben has a couple of base hits already tonight. Well, the Fanatic is leading the charge with the Special Olympics flame. Special Olympics, the unified relay across America, which is taking place. And some of the participants are here tonight with Philly Fanatic. As that one's popped up to the pitcher, Aaron Harang. And there's one away by Brian Pena.
Get a new one. There are splinters flying everywhere tonight.
Well, these 3 games, this has been an expensive game for the clubhouse guys to bring in new bats.
Here's Zach Cozart. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out and he is struck out. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Two balls and no strikes. Outside, 3-0. Cozart spent the end of May, as you see Schumacher on deck, in a 1 for 30 slump. He certainly is out of it. Gets the green light with the count 3-0. It's 3-1. Out toward the tarp, and it remains 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cozart. And there's ball 4, so a 1-out walk puts Cozart aboard. And Skip Schumacher will be the hitter. 4 walks tonight. It's not like Aaron Harang to walk 4 batters. Now, one of them is intentional.
Right. I think we're so used to seeing Aaron Harang throw first pitch strikes as well. Suits got smoked in the backswing.
Hasn't been the easiest strike zone at times for the pitchers or the hitters, for that matter.
You're so nice, Tom.
Be diplomatic, I guess, right? No balls, 2 strikes to Schumacher. Curveball hit foul over the screen.
Tell you what, Aaron Harang's composure and demeanor really played a factor in that last inning. He could have been ranting and raving and tried to overpower baseball, left the pitch up, and bases loaded, 1 out. Jay Bruce, very dangerous hitter, but give him credit for keeping that composure, inducing that double play.
Yeah,
it's huge.
I think there could have been a lot of ranting going on after that call, which, again, we've talked about it. Major League Baseball has to do something about it. I mean, that was just a baseball player. It was a brain fart, a brain cramp by Ruiz, but it turned out to be a baseball play.
Yep.
Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It'd be nice to get a double play here, have the pitcher leading off the next inning, plus getting out of this inning with 87 pitches total. Pitches are starting to run up a little bit.
Yep. Way inside, 3-2. Runner goes, pitch is high, ball 4. So back-to-back walks for Harang, and it puts 2 on for DeSclafani here in the top of the 6th inning. You can fill out your 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Phillies.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote up to 35 times at Phillies.com. DeSclafani squares, cornermen pinch in, bunt goes toward the third base side. The only play is to first, and they get him. The sacrifice successful, and it goes 1-4 on the putout. Now with 2 away, Billy Hamilton will be the batter.
And you will see Franco still playing in on the grass with Billy Hamilton up despite the 2 outs. Always a threat to bunt.
He's 1 for 8 in this series, but he's bunted a bunch of times. He sacrificed his last time. Out of play, and it's 0-1.
That's a place where you want to pitch Hamilton right there. Up in the zone. Get him to hit fly ball after fly ball. Last thing we want him to do is hit a lot of ground balls because that speed can take over.
A little hesitation by Aaron Harang when he lifted his leg, and it's 0-2.
Kind of stopped right there.
Yeah, a little pause.
Kind of reading the Cozart at third.
Bit high, 1-2.
A bit like Dan Herron, who's with the Marlins.
Yeah. 92 pitches for Harang. Trying to get through the 6th inning. The Phillies trail it by 1. Diekman starting to throw in the pen. And a line drive, base hit into center field. 1-1 will score. Rounding third, heading for home is Schumacher. The throw to the plate is not in time, and Hamilton goes to second. It's a 2-run single, and the Reds now lead it 5-2.
Not only do you double clutch in center field, you air it out all the way with the fastest runner in the league on rounding first base. Just not a very smart play there by Ben Revere.
Yeah, Schumacher with 2 outs got a great jump.
Well, he's going to get a good jump.
Yep.
But you double clutch. That should tell you right then and there that I can't air this out.
Yeah. Because now you have a runner in scoring position. 2 runs are in, and you got a red hot hitter in Brandon Phillips coming up.
Billy Hamilton, yes, is most likely going to steal second base because of his speed. But you could always pick him off like the Phillies did the other night. It's always an option.
All right, so Bob McClure out to chat. It looks like with Chase Utley. Harang is off to the left there. Utley's doing a lot of the talking out there. A lot of talking by Tom Hallion and Bob McClure too as they walk off the field together. All right, you got to stop it right now. You're down by 3. That has not been a tough lead to overcome in this series late in the game. And Phillips pops it foul over the dugout, and it's 0-1.
Nice barehanded catch.
I think he was shocked that he caught it. Well, it's been a very good series for Brandon Phillips. 3 runs batted in, 4 runs scored. No balls, 2 strikes. Just a bit high with a lot of his pitches here tonight, which is kind of unlike what we've seen. Even though he hasn't won in his last 3 outings, he still has been down in the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outside, 2-2.
We've seen more pitches tonight from Aaron Harang at 92, 93 than we have seen all year. Maybe overthrown a little bit.
And Hamilton's going to go to third. Ruiz doesn't know where the ball is. Fortunately, he threw it right at Franco. I think Carlos is in a little bit of a fog tonight.
The ball's right in front of him. Now he finds it to his right. Franco puts his arms up, but don't throw it. But Chuchi just getting loose.
And a line drive, base hit it to right field. A run will score. Phillips, an RBI single. He has 3 hits tonight, 8 hits in the series. Second RBI of the night. And Joey Votto's coming up, and that's probably going to be it for Aaron Harang with the lefty Diekman warming up. So Ryan Sandberg's coming out to the mound. Aaron Harang's going to be lifted amazingly before the end of the 6th inning. We just don't often see that from Aaron Harang. So a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. Second trip to the mounds in this inning. 6-2 Reds on top. They've got a runner at first. We'll be back with Jake Diekman's numbers right after this. Take place Wednesday, July 1st and Thursday, July 2nd after the ball games between the Phils and the Milwaukee Brewers. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Well, Aaron Harang's night is done after 5 2/3. It's his shortest outing since September with the Atlanta Braves when they faced the Miami Marlins. Here's Diekman to face Votto. Check swing, foul ball. It's 0-1. Diekman's numbers, an ERA of 7.20. By the way, we have gotten confirmation from Major League Baseball that if Ruiz had just touched the plate and not applied the tag, then there would have been no violation of Rule 7.13. That was the determination of the Major League Baseball replay officials. Grand scheme of things, that was only 1 run. The Reds have added 2 more here in the 6th, but it's still a silly rule, or a silly interpretation of the rule.
Not the adjective I would use, Tom.
Well, I was trying to be PG, Ben. 1 ball, 1 strike to Votto, and Votto pokes it foul down the left field line, and it's 1-2. Why don't all you catchers, you old catchers, the new catchers, why don't you all get together and have a meeting and say, and go to Major League Baseball and say, let's change that rule.
You don't want your catcher hurt, put him in a different position. That's all I have to say about that.
2-2. Thank you, Forrest. It's a second Forrest Gump reference today, by the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Check swing. Did he go? It doesn't matter. It's a call. Strike 3. Side is retired. Reds scored 2. They leave 1. Aaron Harang charged with 6 runs here tonight. Middle of the 6th inning. Reds lead at 6-2. Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com and buy Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Bottom of the 6th inning, it's 6-2. Reds on top, and Jeff Francoeur will lead things off. All right, the Phillies have the Reds right where they want them. Francoeur is 0 for 2. He does have an RBI. Breaking ball, and it's 0-1. One ball of 2 strikes. Well, DeSclafani, we mentioned his numbers have been pretty good this year as a rookie. First time as a full-time starter from the start of the year. Look at his numbers per inning tonight. 2 7s, 1 8. And Francoeur is aboard with a single to left center field.
That's some hitting there, I tell you. Everything was out except his hands. And the best thing he did was he got to the ball and he continued to go through the baseball. If he gets out and doesn't go through the ball, watch him hit the bat, and the bat continues out on that plane. If he comes down and sweeps across that ball, it's a ground ball to shortstop all day long.
I don't think I've ever seen a hitter with his toe up in the air hitting on a seal on a front foot.
Utley takes a strike. It's 0-1.
You're going to get out in front as a hitter. That's the pitcher's job, is to screw up your timing. But as long as you can keep your hands back to a certain degree, you still have a weapon.
And I'd like to see the Phillies get back to what they were doing in the first inning. They were working the pitches. And we saw so far he's had 2 innings of 7s and 1 inning of 8. Make him work a little bit. Go back to heaven on that battle for that bat.
Yeah, because there was a certain hop in the step of the offense the first couple innings against him.
I mean, they were having good at bats the first inning. Then all of a sudden they decide to go out, be very aggressive.
True, it's just the first inning. Inning, you're right. 2 balls and 1 strike to Chase. Chase fouls it back. It's 2-2.
DeSclafani really going to a lot more off-speed pitches these last couple innings. And they're not terrible off-speed pitches, but he was just pumping heaters in there the first couple innings.
Utley pokes it out toward left. Schumacher comes running in. And he makes the catch for the first out. Ryan Howard's coming up. It's time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. All right, guys, here we go. Who was the last Reds 20-game winner before Johnny Cueto in 2014? And it was back in 1988, just so you know. 2014, Cueto won 20. He won 19 a few years earlier.
Yeah, my guess was Jose Rio.
Which was a great guess. It really was.
That was mine as well.
First one that came to my mind. I said that you had rooted for this guy.
Danny Jackson.
Danny Jackson is correct. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of Phillies prize pack.
Not bad, Ben. 2 for 3 on the homestand this series. I was 0 for 3, which I'm used to taking.
Howard fouls it back and runs the count 0-2.
Good swing there. See, Ryan's frustrated he didn't hit that one over the Liberty Bell.
Ground ball to first. Votto's got it. That should be 2. Nice play by Cozart, and it is 2. It's a tough double play. 3-6-3. And the side is retired here in the bottom of the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. We'll head to the 7th inning with the Phillies trailing it by 4. Timeout for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary. 6-2 Reds on top as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Reds have been able to capitalize on a couple of the Phillies' mistakes. Anthony DeSclafani, meanwhile, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Aaron Harang lasts just 5 2/3, 5 earned runs tonight. Todd Frazier will lead things off against Jake Diekman here in the 7th. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Frazier doubled home a run in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 4th, and a fielder's choice in the 5th. Way inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. And he got him swinging, leaning. 2 strikeouts for Diekman, and 1 out here in the 7th. These lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They were interested in the prize, courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank.
I got to believe that Frazier is going to be a happy camper when he gets out of PA.
1 for 15 in the series with an RBI. Well, he's had a lot of friends and family come to the games the last couple of days. His high school coach was here tonight. 1 ball, no strikes to Jay Bruce outside, 2-0.
How far is Tom's River away?
Let's see. I could probably get there about an hour, a little over an hour. Three 3-0. Yeah, probably a little over an hour. It's just it's very close to Lakewood, where the Phillies have the single A affiliate.
Okay.
And ball 4, Bruce draws a walk. That's 6 walks issued by Phillies pitching tonight.
Yeah, that's the one stat for Aaron Harang that is very uncharacteristic of him. Yes, the one was intentional, but that's the most walks he's had, which he had 6 back on June the 8th of 2014.
Pena for 2, walked in the 4th inning. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Quick conversation with Ruiz. It looks like Ryan Sandberg, Bob McClure going over the lineup card, trying to decide what kind of switch and who the Reds are going to have up and who they'd like to get up in the bullpen.
It's Jake's 3rd game in a row, so.
Well, they got him picked. Not a great throw by Diekman, and Howard's able to throw it to second in time to get Jay Bruce.
Nice play by Ryan Howard. First of all, to catch the ball, it was a poor pickoff throw by Jake, but then he has to clear himself and make a lane so he doesn't throw it into the back of Bruce's back. You see him go up to get this, clear himself, so he creates a lane, a throwing lane, if you will, to get Bruce at second base.
So 2 outs, 2 balls, no strikes to Pena, and now it's 2-1.
And it's a huge pickoff. I mean, not because, just because of the game, but because Diekman has pitched 3 games in a row. Tuesday through 14 pitches. Yesterday 25 pitches, and now he's throwing 17 pitches now. So, and that's not including how many times he get up and down out in the bullpen to get loose.
Let's see if he can take care of Pena here. He's got it back even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the dirt, 3-2. Ground ball to shortstop. Galva should have plenty of time. He's up with it. And it's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies down by 4 runs as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Looking for a little offense from Maikel Franco and Cody Ashe. By 4 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2015's Food Service Breakout Player of the Year is W.B. Mason, providing amazingly low prices on kitchen disposables, consumables, smallwares, and so much more from your new restaurant partner. Who but W.B. Mason? Well, DeSclafani tonight, 28 four-seamers, 22 two-seamers. I bet you talked about the off-speed stuff. 4 changeups, 3 curveballs, and 12 sliders. So mostly fastballs, 2 versions of fastball.
Well, the 4-seamer, 2-seamer, and I'm thinking that slider's more of a cutter. It's too hard to be a slider.
Now, there was something that was that the thing that really stood out to you guys, that the velocity last year to this year increased with the cutter, or with what was termed a slider, so that's why you thought it should have been a cutter?
Well, yeah, we talked about it. I mean, usually your slider, I think last year he was averaging about 80 miles an hour on a slider, and all of a sudden it's jumped up about 7 miles to 86 point something. So it's a dramatic change. So to me, it says it's more of a cutter. Unless last year was more of a frisbee, he was just getting around it more.
Yeah. Chopper foul, and it's 2-2.
And that could be something as, choking the ball a little bit more, just finger pressure, all different things. Basically, just how you hold the ball, how hard you can throw it.
Arm angle has a lot to do with it.
All right, so that right there is considered a slider, but it had actions of a cutter.
It had actions of a cutter.
Chopper over the mound. Phillips comes charging in, bad foot and all. Now there's 1 out. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Budweiser is still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Here's Ashe, who walked his last time up. DeSclafani's only allowed 2 hits since that first inning. The single by Francoeur in the 6th, and the single by Revere in the 3rd. I feel like we've said this a number of times with Eddie Butler and Chad Bettis and Mike Leake. Is there anything magical that DeSclafani's doing here, you guys see?
I think he's keeping lefties honest. He's throwing that ball in the inside part of the plate with that cutter slash slider, whatever you want to call it, and a good hard 4-seamer in there. We see him getting up to 94 miles an hour. .57 strikes and 22 balls.
One ball, 2 strikes to Ashe. Curve ball popped up out towards shortstop.
That was a good one to hit there. Whew.
Galvis is flied to left. He's also popped to short. Freddie 0 for 24. 0 for his last 24. Trying to break that. It really does seem like he's down 0-2 in almost every at bat.
When you're not swinging the bat well and you're not getting hits, that's what happens. Every at bat you're looking up there 0-2, and it's a battle.
And you swing at the ones you shouldn't, and you take the ones that you should swing at. First pitch right down. I mean, it split the middle.
Yeah.
And then he swings to the breaking ball that's below the zone.
Ground ball toward Murph. Philly fanatics getting ready to do a little dancing up on the dugout with some of the ladies from Baseball 101.
Now this is the at-bat we're seeing right now where he's been fouling some pitches off. And he was swinging the bat really well. He was putting them, he was battling. Now he might strike out, he might get out. But the best thing about it right now is that he's seeing more pitches. He's getting his timing back a little bit. He's getting some confidence. Because if you watch Freddie Galvis walk up to home plate right now to hit, he doesn't have a whole lot of confidence. His head's down. He's thinking after every swing. If it's a close call and he doesn't like the call, he steps out. So maybe this at bat where he's battling a little bit, give him a little positive attitude.
Yeah, DeSclafani just threw his head to the side because he's frustrated he's thrown so many pitches in this AB. He's only thrown 88 overall. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Popped him up right side. Boy, a lot of those tonight. Brandon Phillips is under it. Phillies go down in order here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So DeSclafani has been in total control. That was a 10-pitch at bat, 7 foul balls, but it results in the final out, and we'll go to the 8th. Sirloin third-pound burgers. Choose from 3 varieties at $4.99 each. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Top of the 8th inning, Reds 6, Phillies 2. 2 more chances for the Phils. That didn't bother them last night or the night before. Well, it's time now for our Hyundai defensive plays of the game. Well, this is when things were going quite well for the Phillies early on, guys.
They were going very well, and the Phillies were throwing some leather at them. Michael Franco here with the play. Gets to it. Goes into the dugout of the Reds. Ryan Howard, opposite side of the field, does the same thing. Throws that Bassmaster Plus out there. Cody Ashley with a leaping grab in left field, and this one takes the cake. Chase Utley, full extension, gets to his feet, throws him out at first, and they are Hyundai defensive plays of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Well, as we begin the top of the 8th inning, Zach Cozart will lead things off. Cozart scored a run in the 6th. Breaks his bat. back toward the middle. Boy, there's a lot of firewood going on. You guys want a bonfire, come out here to Citizens Bank Park and pick up some lumber. Justin DeFreitas into the ball game. Skip Schumacher's coming up. Let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, after 2 months on the shelf, Nats infielder Anthony Rendon making his season debut tonight. He had been recovering from an MCL sprain and also an oblique strain. He is in the starting lineup. The Nats, second base, batting second. That game was just in a rain delay, but it looks like they just got that game underway. Did you hear the story what happened last night, guys, in Miami? Well, I'm going to tell you then. Giancarlo Stanton, part of an auction last night after their game. This is a painting that's Owen painted, and it went for $25,000 last night. Yeah, during the auction. But here's where the story gets cool. It was painted by a local Miami guy, a middle school janitor, who started painting right around Christmas time when his wife bought him a painting set. He started to paint. He realized he had a little bit of talent. He made a pledge that he was going to try and raise $1 million with his artwork for charity. That was the first painting he sold. It went for $25,000. He's off to a pretty good start.
It's a beautiful painting. I mean, it really is. It's very well done. Why don't you get that for your auction, Matt? Get something like that.
Possibly.
That's a lot of loonies.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes around and matches that as well once they get that. Once that story gets out. Maybe even Stanton himself.
That's what I was thinking, Murph. I'm thinking Giancarlo would just stroke a check.
Yeah. Why not?
And he just picked it up in December?
His wife bought him a painting set in December for Christmas. They said, let me try my hand at this. Not too bad.
Swing and a miss, 3-2. DeFreitas' numbers, 25th game. '92 again. Gets the strikeout. 2 outs. And DeSclafani will bat here in the top of the 8th inning. Why not? He's shy of 100 pitches on the night.
Schumacher's looking for something else, apparently. I mean, that's the epitome of getting blown away. A healthy cut.
I was just going to say, this year I've been impressed with some of the swings that the pitchers have done throughout baseball. Sullivan has a very nice swing. Anthony, very nice swing right there.
DeSclafani.
Yeah, Anthony.
No balls and 2 strikes. Up high, 1-2.
Cole Hamels.
Mike Leake last night.
Mike Leake.
How about Syndergaard?
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet swing. Forgot about him, didn't you? Center field home run. And DeFreitas strikes out the last 2 batters to wrap up the top of the 8th inning. Nothing across for the Reds. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Is there magic? We'll check it out when we come back. retro night. We're turning back the clock to the late 60s. Vintage music, ballpark characters, retro-themed player headshots on Fanavision. Phillies and Cardinals will wear the retro 1960s era uniforms, the late 60s. Cardinals weekend will feature games on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. Order your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Well, Anthony DeSclafani has gone 7 innings so far tonight. He's thrown 90 pitches. And as it begins the bottom of the 8th, he'll face Carlos Ruiz, and then a pinch hitter. Cesar Hernandez is out in the on-deck circle. And it started to rain here at Citizens Bank Park. Doesn't look like it's raining all that hard. Although Murph got offended when we said that the other night. Murph, is it raining hard out there?
Well, it's raining. Yeah. No, it's not raining really hard. But when you said it the other night and it was pouring, yeah, that was, you know, a little offensive.
Nationals, of course, had that rain delay. They trail at 2-0 at the bottom of the first today.
I just like it, you know, the guys that are inside commenting on how light the rain is.
Where are you right now?
Well, I'm underneath.
Yeah. We got on the radar, Ben. Is that a renegade storm you got coming up there?
Doesn't look like it, but it definitely is coming north.
Check swing by Ruiz. Did he go? No. This is the first base umpire, Bruce Streckman. And it's full 3-2. El Torito might rear its head a little later on. Odubel Herrera working off the bench tonight. Three balls, 2 strikes. Broken bat looper out to left center field. That'll drop for a base hit. I don't know. There's something going on with the wood tonight.
Shrapnel. But Chooch and the Phils will take it.
That ends an 0 for 11 drought for Carlos Ruiz.
That ball wasn't that far inside. I mean, it's a strike, but just absolutely destroys the bat. I don't know what's better, is watching a bat break and get a knock, or watching the reaction of Ben when another broken bat is made.
Ben Davis, not Ben Revere.
Right.
I mean, these things are exploding. I used to use maple in batting practice because you could hit with them, they would never splinter, but I would always use ash in a game. But these maple bats, when they explode, I mean, they explode.
Think of thunder and lightning.
That's outstanding.
Thank you for that, production cavity.
Yeah. We've got a lot stored up from the last couple of days, too. 1 ball, no strikes to Hernandez. Cesar hitting .235 outside corner, and it's 1-1. Under pitches now for DeSclafani.
Tremendous numbers.
Yeah, 73 strikes. 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You asked earlier, Tom, like, what do you see that he's doing? He's throwing strike after strike.
Well, this is probably going to be his last batter with Revere on deck. Cingrani warming up in the bullpen, and a lefty. Hernandez stays alive.
Great at bat. Continues to just battle and battle. He took a 1-1 pitch that I thought he could have come out of his shoes on.
Yeah.
Count goes 1-2, but he battles and battles and works a walk.
And Brian Price is heading out to the mound. That's going to be it for DeSclafani. He's lifted after 7+. So here we go. The Phillies are into their bullpen, and there's his cheering section. Of electrical workers, Local 98 will give out the Ken Giles t-shirt to fans 14 and under. Game time is 1:35. Tickets are still available for all 3 games. It begins tomorrow night. The 3-game series does at 7:05 and wraps up on Sunday at 1:35. Tony Cingrani is the new pitcher. He's into his 20th game, second game of this series. 23 strikeouts at 20 2/3. Lefties 241, righties 125. All right, so we've seen these comebacks the last 2 nights. I don't know. This is a basic question. Does that lead you to believe in the dugout that you can always do it when you have success like that late in games?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to go to the well too many times.
No.
But I think what happens is that a lot of hitters, they don't panic. They've known the last couple of days. You go out and have solid at bats, good at bats, make some contact. You never know what happens.
Araujo and Gomez warming up in the bullpen. Phillies get a couple runs here. They might change who's warming up. Ben Revere has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3.
I actually like where Joey Votto's playing right now. He's playing in on the grass and over.
Yeah, he's moving way over, isn't he?
And Ben does not pull. I mean, he's not going to bunt. I don't think he's attempted to drag bunt the whole year. Now he's backing up.
Ball and 2 strikes as that one's rolled over toward the camera well. Francoeur on deck. Revere gets on. He's the tying run. Line drive, base hit down the outfield line. Ruiz is around third. He's going to score. Going to third is Hernandez. It'll be an RBI double for Revere. He's now a home run away from the cycle. And the Phillies have made it a 6-3 game. Well, there have been a lot of stoic looks in that Reds dugout over the last couple of nights. Maybe we can throw some more out there.
Well, I like the fact that the first game, Herrera hits the ball down the left field line. Second game, Cody Ashley hits the ball down the left field line. Now it's Ben's turn. Hey, maybe it's a sign.
Francoeur whacks it foul toward the upper deck. It's incredible how this ball went under the feet of the ball girl and didn't hit the stool, and the umpire saw it all and said it's a live ball.
It's a game of inches, Tom.
Man. 0-1 pitch. Boy, Francoeur gets a hit here, or Utley gets a hit. This game is going to get very interesting.
I'd actually take a ground ball to second base.
Well, yeah, or even just
I would even take that
yep.
at this juncture.
Well, you get a strikeout. And there's one away. And here comes Utley. Lifts it out toward left. It should be deep enough and will be to score. Hernandez coming in as Schumacher. He'll make the catch. And it's a 6-4 ball game. So the tying run is coming to the plate in the form of Ryan Howard off the sacrifice fly by Chase Utley.
That goes right back to where Ben was talking about taking a ground ball from Frenchie.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a guy in, get him over. Now there's all of a sudden another sac fly. Now you're at a 6-5 game. But you are down by 3 runs, and you do have a right-handed power hitter hitting.
Well, now Howard is up. Howard is struggling, as we have said. He is 0 for 3 tonight, 2 for 23 on this homestand, and 2 for 31 overall. Man, it just seemed like we were talking about how good his swing was. That's how fast baseball can change. Revere's going to third. They'll let him go. It's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Outside, 1-2.
loves his heater, doesn't he?
Howard's numbers against lefties, and he strikes out with a runner over third. Phillies settle for 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So they're down by 2 as we go to the top of the 9th. They leave one over at third. We'll be back right after these messages. Time for our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
Well, the first one's going to be in the 5th inning. Ground ball to Freddie Galvis. Freddie comes up, makes a strong throw to Chooch, but because of Rule 7.13, blocking the home plate illegally, calls him safe. Then in the 6th inning, a fastball up in the zone. It's a base hit up the middle. Hamilton, which scores Kozar and Shoemaker. And a very close throw to home plate. And that makes it 5-2. That's why that's your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
All right, we go back to that play in the 5th inning. We said that, you know, the 3 and the 6th were more important, obviously, but you got a 2-run game at this point. It was still a big play, and then an even bigger play for Harang to get the 6-3 double play, or a equally as big play just to get out of that inning. But we've seen a piece of Rule 7.13 that we have never seen and probably won't see again.
And hope we never see it again.
Yeah, Genmar Gomez takes over here in the 9th. He'll face Billy Hamilton. Franco in on the grass at third. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Billy Hamilton is probably has a bright future in this game. Finished 2nd in the Rookie of the Year voting a season ago. But he's really struggling offensively. His average at 223. But he can turn the game around with his speed if he gets on.
He can. He had a very good year last year. To me, he has too big of a swing. He hits way too many balls in the air.
Center field, Benavier had him play perfectly.
What'd you say, Matt?
Too many fly balls. It's a not a bad swing. The only thing is he catches a lot of pitches out in front of home plate, and you can see he has it on the upswing. And if he allows the ball to get a little deeper, then he gets the line drives and the hard ground balls on the ground. That's why you always tell hitters, let the ball get deep. It's contact first, then you explode your hips. A lot of guys will make the hip rotation before they make the contact.
Brandon Phillips has 3 hits tonight, 8 hits in this series.
See that swing right there. I mean, this is a fastball that is inside. He lets the ball get deep, and look at the hip explosion. That's how his swings have been going the whole series right there.
Well, he certainly woke up Charlie Bailey and Andy Rabel down in the third base camera well. Charlie's doing a camera for the Reds, and Andy, of course, doing it for us.
I mean, he didn't hit that ball foul. He hit it left.
Everything's okay, Andy? Charlie didn't even flinch, Andy. You flinched a little bit. Charlie did not flinch. Well, I'm saying you
took offense to that.
He's just kidding.
I meant he flinched for Charlie's safety. That's what it was. Yeah. No balls and 2 strikes to Phillips. And it's 1-2. Well, that's a series right there. And, you know, the 6 times he was retired, everything was hit hard. That ball hit Ruiz's hand. On the bounce. It looks like he's okay, and it's 2-2.
Right off the right inside of his hand. You try and keep that hand behind the glove.
Oh, the arm.
Arm.
He's fine because he's got absolute Popeye forearms.
Did you ever catch, Matt?
Yeah. No. Big leagues, no. That hurt?
That hurts. Inside of the thigh hurts the worst.
Fly ball left center field, playable for Revere. It's going to slice back over towards center. And there are 2 outs. Coming up, former Phil, Marlon Anderson will give his full analysis of tonight's ball game. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post Game Live. Here's Joey Votto.
Even that swing by Brandon Phillips, I mean, that was a loud out. He hit the bottom of it, but the timing was down. The swing was good. Unfortunately, he just hit, unfortunately for them, but great for us, that he just hit the bottom of the ball. Matt, how far away is Ontario from here?
About an hour.
Fly ball to left center field. Ashe is there, and he makes the catch. Sonny's retired. One last chance for the Phils. They trail it by 2, and Aroldis Chapman is coming in.
the Cincinnati Reds. They trail at 6-4 here in the bottom of the ninth. After the Reds leave town, the San Francisco Giants will arrive for a weekend set. And here you see your pitching matchup, fellas. Tim Lincecum, the right-hander, take on Jerome Williams tomorrow night. Then on Saturday, it's Madison Bumgarner versus Severino Gonzalez. And then on Sunday, Ryan Vogelsong will oppose Sean O'Sullivan. And Sean O'Sullivan looking for his second win of the season. But, guys, this one is not over yet, as we've learned.
Last couple of days have been pretty exciting as the game has winded down. In fact, last night, Aroldis Chapman gave up the home run to Maikel Franco. Franco will lead it off as we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. 25th game for Chapman. First blown save. This is last night.
If you didn't see it or hear it, 98-mile-an-hour fastball down and in. What do you call it? Down in the home runs hit? Yaka!
414 feet. It's the third longest home run given up by Aroldis Chapman. Kristen Orphy, of all people, 424 at Petco Park.
He's got some pretty good pop in the swing.
First pitch is on the inside corner, 0-1. We got him a high slider. Now it's no balls and 2 strikes. That had to be over 100 miles an hour. I mean, that thing looked like it was sailing. Foul tip, 101 for the second straight pitch. There's one away here in the ninth inning, so no home run tonight for Maikel Franco.
This is just the express. You know, he hit 100 once last night. I was talking to George Grand, the Reds play-by-play announcer, and he said no strikeouts for Chapman last night. He said he can't remember the last time he did not record 1 strikeout.
Well, he's throwing some gas now. That's 3 straight pitches of 101. Now, whether that's straight or not, it's still 101. And a slider. Two balls, 1 strike to Ashe.
I just don't think he's very happy from last night's performance.
Well, he looks like he's got some pent-up frustration going.
Well, and plus he has that downhill tilt now. Last night everything he threw was up and into lefties.
3-2. Or excuse me,
102.
102. So 2 outs.
Here it is. Try and hit it. I mean, it's just. I mean, that is just on you so quickly.
102 again.
And that's what I said last night. He is one of those guys. He's one of the rare guys that has been able to sustain that.
Yeah.
Throughout his career.
Check swing and a slider. Pop up first base side, and it will go out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Galvis. Down the right field line out of play. Swing and a miss. He got it with a slider, and the ball game is over. Chapman, who gave up the lead last night, comes back and strikes out the side here tonight. And the Reds have salvaged the 3rd game of this series against the Phillies by a final score of 6-4. Our Chevrolet player of the game was Anthony DeSclafani, who went 7+ tonight and allowed 6 hits. And boy, he threw a lot of strikes here tonight.
Well, he did. He threw a lot of strikes tonight. Surprisingly, he didn't strike out a batter, but he had very good command of his fastball. I thought he lived at the top of the strike zone, had a lot of weak fly balls, had good breaking balls tonight, and some good defense behind him. So, nothing overpowering, but he spotted the fastball. And guys, they're hitting the ball, or hitting some big ground balls. That's why he's your Chevrolet player of the game.
So he gets the win. He's now 4-4. The Reds take the final game of this 3-game series. The Phillies will see them on Monday in Cincinnati. We'll wrap things up when we get back.